Hi there, it's Siobhan, the Galloping Housewife, on my daily yard commute. It's Sunday here, and heading out in the afternoon like I normally do. And I say it's Sunday, but actually the days of the week mean 3/5 of fuck all to me. I tend to, unless I've got something else planned, I tend to work in the morning. I get up early most days. Yesterday wasn't particularly early, but my alarm went off at 5:30 this morning, and I didn't get out of bed immediately. I sort of had a cup of coffee and played around on Twitter and mucked around before I got out of bed and did some stuff. But yeah, I've been at my computer for the day, for the morning, and my husband's actually away at the moment, which if you watched yesterday's one, I can't remember if I spoke about it yesterday or the day before, but it's quite nice to have the house to myself. I really appreciate having a bit of space. I mean, we live together, we work together. Obviously we get on pretty well, but it's nice when he's away, just to have a little bit of chill out time. And also, actually, to be honest, it gives me a time to get alongside my kids a little bit more. We're very adept co-parents, and my husband spends quite a bit of time with the kids, but and he always has done. He's been, he was the only dad at mummy and me baby swim lessons and that sort of thing, so he's been hands-on for a very, very long time. He does his fair share, in fact probably more than his fair share. And I find it easier. I like it when it's just me and the kids, because we don't have different conversations, so that's been good. I think yesterday I spoke and said I was going out to the yard, but I actually didn't make it. I think I'm actually filmed on the way home from the yard, because I got out there and my yard owner was away, and I just don't feel safe. I don't feel safe out there riding and doing stuff with the horses, particularly when David's away, because it's there's no one to take notice of anything bad happens. But anyway, so I'm going out there today, and we'll have a bit of time with the horses. I am actually going to lunge Percy. I haven't lunged him for I don't know whether I've ever lunged him, but I'm going to put him on the lunge and just see what he's like. He's been pretty fiery actually under saddle in the arena, not so much out hacking, but in the arena for the last little while, and it's a bit tiresome to spend all your day fighting, so I will just see what he's like on the lunge, and whether he just needs more work or whether there's something else going on. And and I'll just do whatever happens with Mitch. Start with him on the lunge. If I get on him, I get on him. If I don't, then I don't. So stopping and going for a little bit of a walk jog on the way. Got the dog, who is used to doing a whole lot of exercise. David does quite a bit, so but when David's away, he doesn't get a lot. Actually, he doesn't care. David thinks he does, but he doesn't care. Anyway, that's a bit of a ramble, and today I was going to talk to you a little bit about so just revisiting the sort of health and nutrition stuff, because I don't talk about that very much on this in these. I haven't, and it's a really important part of what I do. I really think that health and nutrition, if we don't have good health, we don't have anything. I mean, it's really sort of like well-known saying that, but it has got to the point where it almost becomes trite, because we hear it so often. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. So it's but I fully believe that looking after ourselves, being I say in shape for our lives, not in the shape of your life, because our lives are all different, our expectations, our needs are all different, what we like and dislike is all different, how much emphasis we put on the different aspects of our health is different. So it's a very individual decision to make as to how is well for you and how fit is fit for you. And so, I don't make in all of my programs, it's all about taking what works for you and applying that to your life, giving you a whole shitload of knowledge, just so that you can have a thorough understanding about what you are doing and the impact that it has on you. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about I guess carbs and appetite, and in particular sugar. And sugar has got a bad rap, and to be quite blunt, in some ways it deserves it, but not for the reasons that you think, and not to the point of excluding it completely. We are actually designed to use carbohydrates. They are the most efficient energy source that we are given, and that we can utilize, and even the very sweet, the sugary type things, honey is a very natural and has been used for millennia as a sweetening agent. However, the discovery of sugar or sugar cane, and then the addition of that to our diets, not just in its pure form, but also all the hidden sugars, all the very processed foods that we eat, that and particularly anything that is low fat, anything that's labelled low fat, should be avoided at all costs. It generally has a ton of added sugar to make up for the mouthfeel and the lack of flavour that removing fat has on a product, and we need fat a lot more than we need sugar, but just like highly processed food, when you've got very available sugars, white pasta, white bread, cakes, pastries, those sorts of things. But again, we are not designed not to have it. We're just not designed to have it in the quantities that a modern diet provides for us. And the thing that sugar does is that it peaks your insulin, spikes your insulin levels, and so and then your insulin comes along, hits you hits you in a flash, and you will get the dive afterwards. So you get that sugar rush, that instant energy, and then you'll get that feeling of blah. And unless you use some other kind of stimulant to follow or eat more sugar, then you end up having these peaks and troughs in your energy levels all day. And also, insulin is the catalyst for turning the glucose in our bodies, and storing it as fat. And so it's, we need, if you're after weight loss, your aim is to go for as low insulin as possible. And if you're after any sort of weight maintenance, you're after as stable a blood sugar as possible. So as stable an insulin level as possible. And so it's really important, and in fact I advocate eating lots of small meals a day for several reasons, because the lack of glucose in your blood will also stimulate your appetite, and as well as having the associated energy level drops. And yeah, so but there is, once we have got things under control, and once your insulin is working as it should, the occasional assault is no problem. A weekly cake and coffee date, or having a dessert when you're out, or having a beer and pizza night with your mates is not going to do any harm at all. But you have to get things under control first, and get things working as they should be, because if you've been eating a high sugar diet, then you will have what's known as you can have what is known as insulin resistance, or be in a pre-diabetic state. So but equally, if you are looking to cut your sugars, if you are someone that has sugar in your drinks, if you're someone that eats a reasonable amount of chocolate or cakes every day, or you eat a lot of white products, then cutting your sugar is all at once is the last thing that you should do. You will crash, you'll feel like shit, you'll get headaches, you'll get tremors, you won't be able to function, you'll find your memory is terrible, and no one deserves that. And that is just something that we need to be making changes that are easy. And so simple things like if you have 2 sugars in your tea or coffee, drop one of them. If you're having 3 or 4 cups of tea or coffee a day, and you drop 1 sugar, I think it's something like 7 kilos over a year. Like, it's a lot of weight to be just by making that simple change. Swap out your post your post dinner chocolate with a couple of pieces of dried fruit, or something along that line. It's just about making these transitions, and always keep something nearby. I like dried fruit as mine. I have these things called naked bars here in the UK, and they are made up of like smashed fruit and stuff, which have reasonable amounts of sugar, carbohydrates in them. But it's because it is just pure smashed fruit, it is very nutrient dense, and what we call slow release. And so I will have that nearby, so that if I notice that I am starting to get a bit headachy, and just not feeling my best, I will have some of that, and it normally picks me up. The other thing to watch with that is that, especially if you're doing exercise at the same time while you're changing what you're ingesting, then be very aware that electrolytes are something that we need to keep on top of. So adding in a electrolyte an electrolyte drink or mix is I think imperative, not just very helpful, but actually imperative. And on that note, I was about to say sugar-free. I choose to have sugar-free things, but be very aware that added sweeteners actually will spike your insulin as much as sugar. So that if you don't just go replacing your Don't just go replacing your sugar. Sorry, I'm not paying attention as I'm parking, and it's better. They will. So the thing that actually sparks, that causes the insulin to flow, is the taste of the food. So the sweet taste of the food, and so artificial sweeteners will peak your insulin levels just as much as having sugar, and that will, in turn, you'll end up with a crash without the peak, and also because you're throwing insulin into your bloodstream, if you've got any glucose there, that will turn that into fat. So yes, stay away from artificial sweeteners as much as possible. All artificial sweeteners will do this to you. Again, it's the taste. It's got nothing to do with the actual product. And saying that, there are certain artificial sweeteners, I think it's aspartame, that is 20 times as sweet as sugar, and so you might not be aware of that, but your taste buds will be, and your hormones will be. So yeah, artificial sweeteners are not the way to go. Sorry. But the thing that I started with all this is that you will find over time your taste buds change, and that so your cravings, part of the reason to do it slowly is, like everything else, is to make it easy, and we need to make it easy. And like I said, this is part of the reason to do it slowly. There's lots of reasons to do it slowly, much more in-depth sort of physiological and metabolic reasons to do it slowly. But part of the reason is to make it easy, and you will find that if you just slowly reduce your amount of sugars, that you will not have, you will lose the craving for it. And I now find, having taken it away, that I find it really difficult to, like, I couldn't eat a full brownie. If I went into a bakery and bought like a piece of brownie, I cannot eat the whole thing, as much as I like it. I just find it too sweet and too overpowering, and I will and so take it slowly, because you don't want to have those cravings. You don't want to to feel that you have an overwhelming urge for something, and then to break down and reward yourself. If you take it slowly enough, you will get through it without the cravings, and without that feeling of being addicted to chocolate, that chocoholic type thing that so many people talk about. Right, that's me. I've gone on, I tend to be going on a bit these days, so I will try and keep them shorter. And I am here parked in the car park where I'm going to go for my walk run thing with the dog. Catch you tomorrow. Bye.